And then let me ask you real quick. So you were gone to where for 9 years again? Sweden,
Stockholm,
Switzerland,
Sweden. My husband
Sweden.
was studying economics there.
Okay. Did you want it? That was before you started the magazine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you had no reason to say, "Hey, I'm staying around." You're like, "Let me go." And what did you do over there? Like he was working,
I
right?
went to school too. I just took various courses
Uh-huh.
while he was taking. See, in Sweden, you don't to get a doctorate. It's almost
Hmm.
like being knighted. Okay, it's not that you can't just go to school 4 years, then do write a dissertation, and it's done.
Yeah.
He had to take all these other classes that before he could even deal with the paper that he eventually wrote with two other guys,
Yeah.
and so anyway, it took a long time, but we weren't consistent with it because Sweden is a
Hmm.
different kind of place to be. It's
To tell
free
more.
to the more.
Tell more.
Okay,
What's so different about it? I mean, I'm
well,
sure you're the only black people there. First of all,
no, there
there are
more.
others.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of Africans there too. People, it's a gentle country.
Gentle.
It's a smart country, and it takes care of you.
They take care of you.
School is free, hospitalization's free, having the baby's free. They give you money for the child every 3 months.
Did
You
you have
get.
a child while you were there?
I had two children. I had
While
two
you're there,
sons.
they
Yeah.
were both born overseas.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so but they take care of you every 3 months. You get money to, when you need to buy formula,
But
diapers,
so
whatever.
when you were living in Sweden,
Stockholm.
how did you raise them? Did you raise them the same way you were raised here?
Well,
did you how
no,
was what
they
was
were
the culture like?
young. They were young. When we came back to the United States, they were still like 4 and 2, something like that.
Okay.
They were too young
Because
when we
you
got back. My husband and I were married for a 20, what, 26 years, something like that. But with the
Mhm.
first 4 years or so, we were just having a ball, and
Nice. And then the
the
children came and
traveling and hitchhiking through Europe and all
uh-huh.
that.
Oh wow.
We did all of
You're
that.
you're 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 you guys were living on the edge out there.
Yeah, we
Nice.
were. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Got stuck out in Germany, raining, and no lights, no nothing, just out in the woods. And
You don't got to go there to do that. You can just come to the hood.
I could.
Lights get turned off all the time in the hood.
Yeah,
Like, no
I
problem.
wasn't happy with this.
So you were there and you left when your son reached what age? How old was your
My
son?
kids were like 2 and 4.
Okay, but you talked to me before about bundling and the importance of bundling. Let's
Oh,
talk about that.
well, while we were, I learned about bundling, which I think is what we should do today because the
Hmm.
times are so hard and expensive. But the different families would come together. We were Americans, Swedes, Finns, uh, um, South African,
Hmm.
and white American, Black American. So we would all get together in one of our apartments, and my Matabuko, who's a black historian, he's telling us about things that happened in Gaza Strip and
Oh,
the things.
so you
Yeah,
knew about this stuff
yeah.
back then.
Well, I knew about there was problems. There's been problems there
You
for
should have went to go
centuries.
fix it.
Yeah. I was.
I've known you for a while. You're a problem solver. I think you could have fixed that
I'm a
situation.
problem.
Yeah.
If I could,
Yeah.
if I
You
could
have that
land somewhere
personality.
without getting a bomb, I don't
So
like
you
it when
so this
guys'
was
kids don't get
Mabuku,
along. Matabuko.
Metabuco.
So he was telling us, he was making us, because Americans, until this war and stuff, we don't pay attention to what happens to other countries, in
Right.
other countries.
But you did when you were there in Sweden. You
In
paid
Sweden, you
attention.
pay attention to
Everything.
everything. And
Mhm.
but so we bundled, and this is something that I think we should do
But you guys
today.
all got in one bed and just like, what do you mean bundled?
It was kind of sort of like that.
Okay,
Okay,
that's just
but
freaky.
not really.
That
But
reminds me of
during the
Kanye's cover.
day, in the
Yeah.
day, there's 2, 3, 4 families come together,
Mm.
and we decide who's got the kids today, who's shopping today, who's cleaning today, and all
Okay,
that. And
this
so
makes
we
sense.
distributed the
The chores and
all that.
delegation, everything was just
Right. And I would be like, when my husband braided my hair, Hiromi, who's South African, Indian. He's studying. He's studying to be a dentist and a doctor.
Wait a second. Hold on. Back up. Your husband was braiding your hair. First of all, where did he learn how to braid hair? Because I've braided my daughters, but I
Okay.
have 5 sisters, so
Yeah.
I've been
Right.
watching. And then YouTube. We had YouTube during my time. What was he using then? Because that was not in the
No,
Britannica,
this is-
Encyclopedia,
No, this is
how to
in
braid.
the 70s, you know.
Who-
So, no, my husband was very smart.
Well, I know
And
that.
so he just
he was
watched
a
somebody
nuclear
braiding
physicist
hair.
or like Professor King Bean or something. What was
He
he?
was he's an economic professor.
Same
Has
difference.
PhD, right?
It's a long titles.
Difficult, right?
Yeah. He's a genius, basically, is what you're saying.
He really was.
Yeah, I can tell by the way you're smiling.
Yeah.
He's a genius. I got the right one.
He was I know. I got a miracle. I just always said, I know God loves me because he sent me this prize. I mean, he was just like a prize stallion.
And how did you? And then so he's braiding hair and everything. Now let's rewind just a little bit. How
But he
did
was
you
from
meet?
Birmingham,
How did you?
Alabama, by the way.
He's from Birmingham. Where did you meet him, and how did you meet him?
Well, I had I think I had 2 or 3 fiancés at that time.
At the same damn time. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you know what it was.
Fiancés, they all
one-
had rings for you, like 3 rings on
I
like
had-
one hand.
I had one had asked me to marry him, but I didn't have the ring. The other 2 had
I'll
gotten
drink
me
to that.
rings.
Yeah.
So, but the thing was is that I was on my way to meet one of my fiancés. The other fiancé was in overseas. You know, he was in the army or whatever.
Oh, how convenient.
So I was like, I went to an early morning class, and
Yeah.
I was leaving, and I cut through the cafeteria at Roosevelt University, and that's downtown in
Yeah.
Chicago. And I saw him sitting there talking to somebody, and something just, I said, oh my God. And so I went over there and sat at the table where they were talking.
You
I
just
said,
went. Let me get this right. You just went and just sat there.
Yeah, because I kind of knew the guy he was talking to.
Oh, okay.
But that guy liked me. But I never paid attention to him until that day.
So that poor guy thought you
He
were
thought
coming
I
for
was-
him.
Yeah.
And you're
I'm
coming for his
sorry,
best
I'm
friend.
Sorry.
Hey, listen, man.
Well, no, he had
It's,
just dropped off his girlfriend downtown at work, and they had broken up.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I found out
Gotcha. Okay.
after we
so it's fair game. It's free
yeah,
for all.
it was a free-for-all.
Yeah.
And
Nothing
so
wrong
he
here.
it was really interesting because I was the one who made the move to sit down there and talk to him. But he told me much later, he said, when I saw you out the corner of my eye, and I thought, oh, man, where have you been? That's what he said he thought. He just knew.
He
I
knew
said,
right
I
away.
said, but you didn't move towards me. I moved towards you. He said, I knew I didn't have to move towards you. It
I
was
like
just,
this guy.
yeah.
I can relate to
He
him.
was, my husband was smooth, smart. He was the one that taught me how to write, and my sister too.
Okay.
He was an economist, you know. He's just smart. You know, marry a smart man. I'm telling you, that's the best thing out there. And he was kind, you know.
kind.
And I told you that he would braid my hair, and that's something
He
that
was gentle. He was a
he
Renaissance
was a
man. He was
gentle
very,
guy. But
something
it's
he did
not.
for the bit.
It's the hair braiding. We both had naturals, so
It was a bonding thing, I guess, right?
it's
It's
you learn about one another. A lot of times we get married to someone we don't really know who they are, what
Yeah.
they've gone through, the problems and stuff, and they
Yeah.
are carried over. You know, it shows up,
Yeah.
and so he would. I would say things that like I can't stand when my father does this or whatever it is, you know, and he'll say, okay, well, what was happening there? You know, my husband was real smart. Why did you feel that way? Or, you know.
So there's a lot of conversation.
A
going
lot
on.
of
Was he your
conversation.
best friend? Like, was he
Yeah.
confidant, best friend? Because
My-
you were on road trips, you know, gallivanting throughout Europe and whatnot.
Yeah, but he was my best friend, but he was more
just do
than
that
that.
to anybody.
No, you can't. I mean, I know God loves me because he sent
Because
me
you
that
were
man.
safe. You made it back safe. Most people don't make it.
I made it back smart, and
Oh,
my father,
he
my
made you
husband,
smarter.
He made me
you
very
smart.
smart, and he also was very kind to me, extremely kind. And even we broke up at one point, and I was with somebody else, and that didn't work out. My husband was so happy to get the women when we broke up. You know, my husband was very handsome. You know,
I saw the
and
photos.
stuff. Yeah, and those women were just waiting. What? She's
They were
gone.
mad
And
when you returned.
they were furious.
Yeah.
You know, because he was going to marry one of them. He was going to marry 2 of them wanted him. And when I came back, he
The
just
two you know,
he's
I'm
did
sure it was
it.
like 5 or 6. I saw the photos.
You saw the
he's a
photos. He's
stud.
very handsome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
So let me ask you this then. traveling through Europe. You guys come back for whatever reason. You
But
ran out of
we
gas.
come back because when he got his doctorate.
And you were done.
Yeah.
And then you came back to the U.S. straight back.
Yeah.
When you came back, where did you go?
He got